everybody, and welcome to That's Football. We are live here for Brazil against Morocco Watchalong. I hope you're all doing very well. Massive game. The first big game of the World Cup, in fact. I've got to say, Switzerland's against Qatar. Did anybody watch that? Was a bit shit, to be honest with you. I mean, Switzerland couldn't hit the ocean from a boat, which is actually quite apt because I think it is landlocked, Switzerland. So they wouldn't be able to hit the ocean from a boat because there wouldn't be any ocean, which is very, as I say, apt for that game. They got a late equaliser, Qatar, and ended up drawing because it was a late equaliser. But this is where it all starts. I've got an early super chat from the Real Slim who says, it isn't a World Cup without Brazil. Well, remember, I've made a stupid take or a hot take. I've said that I think that Brazil might flop in this World Cup. They did win the World Cup the last time the last time the World Cup was held in America. So it's Cunha against Mazraoui in a Man United say, but it's not. I just want to make it very clear. There was an idiot earlier who said there's more than Cunha versus Mazraoui. It's not a boxing match. It's a game of football. I'm fully aware it's 11 against 11. What I'm saying is, from a Manchester United perspective, Cunha plays for Brazil, and definitely getting a little bit of background noise there. Cunha plays for Brazil and Mazraoui plays for Morocco. Dan says, can you give 50 quid out to everybody who does the correct score? No, but I can block you, mate. Easily done. Qatar Masterclass, says Harry. So the teams should be on the screen for you. We are doing Scotland against Haiti. I wish this was the 2 o'clock game, to be honest. Because I think Scotland should batter Haiti and it could be a boring second half, but we will see. I might go to bed a bit early tonight. But looking at the teams, you should have it on the screen for you. We've got Alisson. Sorry, you haven't got that. We've got Morocco at the moment. Bouna, Hakimi, Diop, Riyad, Mazraoui. Mazraoui playing at left back for Morocco. Boadi, Ayani, Awani, Diaz, Alcaraz, and Saibari. That's the guy who's signing for bloody Bayern, isn't it? I was thinking it was someone else last night. Saibari, I'm pretty sure he's signing for Bayern. Yeah. Ismail Saibari. He's only 25 years of age. Currently plays for PSV and is about to sign for Bayern Munich. So keep an eye out for Morocco's forward. They're a good team, Morocco. They are a good team. Brazil, Alisson's in goal. Ibanez at number 24. Who is that? Is that Danilo? And they're just doing the names. I don't like the way they do the names on the BBC website. Let me find somewhere else. Because they do their real names and not the names that we're aware of. Let me get the lineups for you. Okay, yeah. No, it is Ibanez, sorry. Santos at left back, Ibanez at right back, Marquinhos and Gabriel, Casemiro, Bruno G and Paqueta as the midfield three, and then Rafinha, Vinicius Jr and Thiago as their front three. On the bench for Brazil, Edison, who's just signed for Manchester United. Alexandro is getting on a bit now. Cunha on the bench for Brazil. I've just realised. Weberton, Danilo, Bremer, Pereira, Fabinho, Danilo again. Endrick, Enrique, Martinelli, Edison and Rayan, who obviously plays for Bournemouth. Neymar not fit. I don't think this Brazil side's good enough to win the World Cup. They've got fantastic players, but I don't think they're good enough to win the World Cup. Sean says, what's up, Goldie from Ireland? Nothing's up, but welcome to the show. Hope you're all doing very well. Mazraoui being demoted to left-back in both teams. Well, he has got Hakimi in there now. So excited for tonight. My first World Cup with us there, says Mackenzie Celtic, who is clearly a Celtic, a Scottish person. Morocco is a dark horse in the tournament. Just see, says Constantine. And hi, Mark. Hope you feel better, says Tom. Just wanted to say thank you for all you do. You mean a lot to us in our daily struggles. Love from Norway. Well, we're looking forward to watching Norway, Tom, and thank you very much for your conversation there. This is a lovely ground It's the MetLife. So I am very interested. Gaz says his Cafu injured. I am very interested in these stadias here. We've got nearly 4,000 people watching on TikTok, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Welcome. Give us a follow. We've had 23 new followers there. We're also live on YouTube. Levi Sports is a new member there. Thank you very much. In fact, TikTok is nearly beating YouTube. TikTok's got 3,800 viewers. YouTube's got 3,900. Might be a little bit of a battle going on here. Give it a follow. Give us a share. I'm definitely getting a bit of background noise. Am I? Oh, right. Okay. That was it. Some bloody... No, it was some because I'd opened TikTok to go onto this thing. I'd left a browser open, and there was some bloody Welsh guy talking on his TikTok. That's what it was. I don't know what he was talking about. He was just going, "Yeah, we'll give it 5 minutes, and then we'll head down the field." You know, don't know what he was off to do down the field. That's all I could hear. I don't even know what TikTok it was. I just closed the browser, but it was a Welsh person going, "Yeah, we'll give it 5 minutes, and then we'll go down the field." Probably going to a party. It's Saturday night, isn't it? Yeah. I suppose that's what the youth do, isn't it? They go down the local park or a field. Anyway, players are in the tunnel. Someone's just put a sheep emoji. I wasn't implying that. That's not. That's not. I think they were going to a party. Yeah. Okay. TikTok is blasting YouTube here. 5,300 to 5,000. If you're on YouTube, get sharing. This was a great idea to go live on TikTok. Legends on TikTok. Give us a follow. Thank you very much. Okay. Lots of excitement around this game anyway. The World Cup is up and running. If you're not aware of the results we've had today, we've had one game between Qatar and Switzerland. That finished 1-1. That was Canada's group, who also drew to Bosnia last night. So they're all locked on 1 point. Brazil's group is obviously Brazil in it, but Scotland and Haiti, they play at 2 a.m. We're doing a watch-along for that as well if you're a night owl. The only reason I'm doing that is because it's Scotland, effectively. So, look, this is an interesting group because Morocco and Brazil will expect to be strong. So Scotland do need to win. I like this stadium. A lot of Americans don't like the MetLife. Let me know why. I'm not from New York, but a lot of them don't like it. It's mad to think that USA against Paraguay was actually today. Technically it was, wasn't it? So yeah, we're at the MetLife Stadium. They're calling it the New York, New Jersey Stadium because for commercial and branding reasons, they can't call it the MetLife. Scotland are playing in Boston. So we had Qatar, Switzerland earlier on in the San Francisco Stadium. 67,000 people there. People are talking about empty stadiums. I do think we've got a bunch of moaning shithouses out there about this World Cup. I noticed it with Qatar, and I was one of them. But I was moaning about the Qatar World Cup because we got a lot of 0-0s. People are moaning about this World Cup, and it's only just got going, and they're trying to make out no one's turning up. There's bloody loads of people turning up, and the MetLife in New York, look at that. It's a fantastic. This is where the World Cup final will be as well. Now, I personally think the World Cup final should be in the Azteca in Mexico, but this is a nice stadium. There's no doubt about it. It really is. Constantine does make a very good point, though. The MetLife is AstroTurf. I've never smoked AstroTurf, only fools and horses. Prestige says, gutted Wales aren't in the World Cup. Yeah, maybe that's why he was going down the field, to ignore the World Cup and have a party about, I don't know, something else. But if you know, you know. Would you like to fight in a celebrity boxing match, says Han? I like boxing. I wouldn't box anybody because I don't like them, because that's disrespectful to boxing. It's a sport. But I'm probably too old now. I'd fall apart. I'm getting too old. I mean, I literally lifted a bucket this morning. I think. By the way, if people don't know, I do the United Stand on YouTube, Man United channel. I did a video live at 12:30 today, and I could barely move my neck and my shoulder. I've been rubbing it with deep heat. I've taken some paracetamol, but obviously I used to be a detective, so I did a little bit detective work trying to figure out why I was in absolute agony in my shoulder. Basically, I filled a bucket with water this morning to go and tip it on the patio because a pigeon had done a shit. And I think when I picked it up, it was a little bit heavy and I jolted my shoulder, and that's it. That's what can happen to you. And you're laughing now. In your 40s, it's to come for you. I'm getting old, so yeah. Yeah, that's what happened there. But I'm a lot better now. I've had a good few rubs of deep heat, and I'm probably high on deep heat actually. I've never stopped rubbing it in. But yeah, I'm looking forward to these games. Very excited about it. Got nearly 10,000 people watching on TikTok. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Absolute legends. But Brazil-Morocco is our first game. What's the schedule, Mark? This weekend's really busy. Off the top of my head, obviously we've got Brazil-Morocco now. We've got all the stats on the screen for you if you're new to watching, by the way. Please do give us a follow. Or if you're on YouTube, please do subscribe because we're on the road to 1.5 million. The timer will start in a minute. All your stats will go around on my left-hand side. We are doing Scotland and Haiti at 2 a.m. We're not doing Australia-Turkey. I would like to have done that game, but Turkey's kickoff games are shit. And I know a lot of Turkish people, like when I was doing Baller League, I think all my coaches were from Turkey, I think. So they've had a right shit. Yeah. Well, Turkey's in Europe. I don't know what I'm talking about anyway. They've got a 3 o'clock in the morning kickoff, a 4 o'clock kickoff in the morning, and they've got a 5 o'clock. So it's Australia against Turkey at 5 a.m. We're not doing that. Germany against Curacao tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We're doing that. Netherlands against Japan at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. We're doing that. And Ivory Coast, Ecuador. Is where we're at with that. So there we go. Ivory Coast, Ecuador at midnight, yeah. So yeah, we've got 3 watch-alongs tomorrow, 2 tonight, technically. There we go. Is Seb watching the games, Lawson? He watched a bit of Qatar, Switzerland. I said, turn that off, it's crap. No, he's gone to bed now. Don't underestimate Morocco. Lots of people are saying don't underestimate Morocco. This is good. Who would you like to fight in a celebrity boxing match is what Han said. Yeah. Well, who do you lot think would be good? Predict each match with first goal scorer and minute. I hate doing stuff like that now, but if you want to do it, that's absolutely fine. Daniel says, hopefully we get the entertaining Brazilians we all know and love, although not feeling 100%. Thank you for doing the watch-along as live and direct this Saturday with Mark. Hope you're doing well. You too, Daniel. Thank you very much for your super chat. So excited tonight, says Mackenzie. Thank you very much. Am I right in saying, Real Slim says the Morocco gaffer looks like you, Mark? What? Stunningly attractive and clearly intelligent. I haven't seen him yet, but I would have gone with Cunha for Paqueta. What do you reckon, Mark? Says Ashi. I can't believe he's not starting Cunha. Sack Ancelotti for not starting Cunha. Yeah. He's just had something rubbed on his chest. To be fair, one positive about the World Cup so far, they've been better at than I thought, is the kickoff times. If you've ever watched NFL, as others people call it, American football, a lot of their games, it will say 11 o'clock kickoff, and it's just a guide. They won't kick off till about 20 past 11. But to be fair, they have adopted the football strategy of trying to get it kicked off at the same time. I'm loving these VAR pictures as well. Did you see the game for Qatar and Switzerland? He's actually giving it a good old smile. They're taking it seriously. So basically, the camera goes to the VAR people before the game, and most of them sit there like this. I'd be like this. Every picture I do with anybody in public, if they want a picture, I'll be talking to them like that, and as soon as the camera comes on, I go, I don't know why, I've always put my thumb up. I've always, if you ever see me and we have a picture together, you'll notice I always go like that. That's what I would do if I was a VAR person. I'd be like, actually, I might do that instead. Yeah, I could do that. This is another cracking stadium. We've got two brilliant stadiums tonight for you. Boston for Scotland and MetLife in New York for Brazil. Also, we've got the, I might be able to put it on actually, the Knicks, New York Knicks are playing the Spurs, aren't they, in the basketball. Did you have a power nap, says Danzy? I did, actually. What did I do today? So I went to bed at about 4 o'clock. That was bloody depressing. I was happy to go to bed, but as I went to bed, I heard a noise. I looked out the window. It was getting light, and birds were waking up. You know, some people have the joy of walking out in the MetLife to the theme tune of, you know, the Champions League or whatever like that. I was going to bed to the theme tune of fucking birds singing. Fortunately, I fell asleep very, very quickly. But yeah, I went to bed about 4 a.m. Woke up at about 9:30. Well, got up at 9:30. And then took Seb to football. And then did the morning show at about 12:30 on the United stand. And I went back to bed at about 1:30 for an hour and a half. And then I went down the pub. And then I had a lovely takeaway. And then I did the 8 o'clock show on the United stand. And then I watched a little bit of Dutton Ranch. And then I came down and I'm sat with you lot for 2 games. So it's a funny old time, isn't it? I mean, this is a huge World Cup. I have done World Cups before. And Euros. But this, it's the relentless of this World Cup. There's just so many games. Haram says Qatar got robbed. There was a little bit of controversy in that. We've kicked off here, by the way. There was a little bit of controversy in that because of the potential offside on the penalty that was given to Switzerland. I mean, the technology is surely there. ASAP, thanks for giving us a follow. We've had 100 followers on TikTok. Thank you very much. Get to bed, old fella, says Cameron. Thank you very much for your super chat. Yes, Ancelotti is the manager of Brazil. I watched the previous game. Every single commentator sounded boring, bored to tears. Glad you're doing this watch along from Ireland, says Rossi. Yeah, let us know where you're watching from, everybody. Can't wait for Vinicius Jr. against Hakimi. Love from Texas, says Kinton. Get to bed, old fella, says Cameron. That's both ageist and ageist. Paqueta, first yellow card, 10th minute. It's his bet too, says Rafa. Stevie's just had a coffee. I've actually just had a coffee as well. My long hairy thing's greased up as my ponytail, says Avram's little ponytail. Connor says, if Ancelotti wins the World Cup with Brazil, where do you think that puts him on the GOAT manager debate, as he would have won almost everything? I've always said that I think Vinicius Jr. I've always said that I think Ancelotti is one of the best managers in the world. So, you know, winning the World Cup, it is on the list, isn't it? You know, will Mourinho ever win a World Cup? Probably not. Will Pep win a World Cup? Maybe not. Did Sir Alex Ferguson win a World Cup? No, although he did manage Scotland in '86. He was never going to win a World Cup, was he? So winning a World Cup for a manager, it's a, you know, tick in the box, isn't it? Vinicius Jr. to score in the 34th minute is now. You versus Tommy Fury, all muscle, no action, says Constantine. Has that fight happened? I would never have watched it, but somebody just said something about MetLife. Where was it? Oh, I can't see it now. It's gone. Hey, Nathan. Thanks very much for tuning in. Stuart says Spain are going to win the World Cup. Look, we're learning about every nation because probably like me, you don't spend a lot of time. I mean, I barely watch England games in the international breaks. I certainly don't go off trying to watch Morocco or Brazil that often. Qatar, Switzerland was boring. Yeah, this is why with this World Cup, my advice is don't try and watch every game. There's too many games. In previous World Cups, I would try and watch them all. This World Cup, I'm quite happy to watch about 75% of the games and then highlight some of them. Like I would like to watch Australia-Turkey, but I'm not staying up till 5 a.m. So that'll be a nice croissant and a cup of coffee at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, watching the highlights. Because the trouble is, if every game's brilliant, that's fine. But Switzerland, Qatar, you can do without. You can do without that game. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Morocco. As I said, players to keep an eye out for them. Obviously, they've probably got the best right back in the world in Hakimi. They're defensively quite good. They do play decent football. And Brazil, I've done a lot of homework on this World Cup. I'm not convinced about Brazil, and I'm not convinced about Argentina. Technically, they probably should win it because it's a non-European World Cup. And historically, that does bode well. But why does it bode well? Because it's in a hot climate. Teams like Morocco, they got to the final of the bloody AFCON, didn't they? With Senegal. Either of those teams could be very competitive in this World Cup. As I say, number 11 is one to keep an eye out. Saibari. He's heading to Bayern. He's been at PSV. And he's heading to Bayern Munich, 25 years of age, the number 11. Keep an eye out for him. Alcaraz, I forget who he plays for, the number 23, but he is decent. I feel like, and I might be wrong, I feel he plays for Stuttgart. He does, yeah. Knowledge Bridge, I'm bloody good, you know. Yeah, he's only 22, the number 23. He's really exciting. He's had a brilliant season with Stuttgart as well. So, Morocco, it's not just about the likes of Hakimi and Mazraoui. Alcaraz, Saibari are very good. And I didn't actually do my homework on this game to do my list of stats. But obviously, you'll know about Brahim Diaz. He's only 26, obviously plays for Real Madrid. So, it's a very good front three. And here is Mazraoui. He lays it off. He's got to shoot! Oh, it should have been 1-0 to Morocco. It should have been 1-0 to Morocco. Mazraoui down the left-hand side, cut it back. They were queuing up and he just didn't get hold of it. A very good start by Morocco, though. Cleared by Bruno G. They are very confident, aren't they? Thanks for the follow, DH77. And they're in again here. Hakimi, cross shot, goes wide. I don't feel like I've done a lot of research on this Morocco team. I feel like I do need to do it. Somebody said the number 6 for Morocco is only 18 years of age. Oh, that's the lad who plays in, I think he plays for Lille. Bouadi, isn't it? So, yeah, you've got Diaz from Real Madrid. Kunaz we've mentioned. Alcaraz from Stuttgart. Saibari's playing up front from PSV. Bouadi, yeah, plays for Lille. Only 18. It's the one with the... I'm trying to say, almost like in keeping with Brazilian, he's almost got like the Douglas Luiz hair, the number 6. If you look at him there, he's only 18. He plays for Lille, so very good player. Let's look at their lineup. They're a young team as well. They started off very well. Here he is. Here he is. Only 18. He's an absolute monster. He's really good. Keep an eye out for him. Here he is, Boadi. He's only 18. I've told you he's only 18, but he's almost like Rabiot, isn't he? Very technical player. He's the one to watch. And that's a foul. But very good start. He'll be in the Premier League soon, says Liam. Do you think João Pedro should have gone to the World Cup, Matthew? Well, I actually know a few Brazilian people, and they're quite mixed about Neymar. Some Brazilians just love Neymar. Some people feel that it's almost like he's paid to get in the Brazil squad. I mean, I don't know how that works, but they feel like it almost unsettles the squad. I don't know. I always felt when Neymar was good, it was a bit like the Neymar show. With him not even being as good anymore, I can't see how this is a positive. But then again, I think that Ancelotti is one of the best, managers in the world. Why would he bring in players that are just there for the publicity? But so I think João Pedro was a little bit unlucky. Oh, they've won it back here again. Alcanaz for Morocco. Lays it off. Lovely feet. And a good tackle. And that'll be a foul. I tell you what, Morocco look very good. Scottish people should be enjoying their Saturday night getting ready for Haiti. But you've got to beat Haiti, because if you might end up with 3 points, which could still get you through. But I think Morocco are a very, very good side. And I think already in this first 10 minutes, if you're looking for a dark horse of the tournament, Morocco look very well balanced, and they're going to be very, very good at dealing with the heat. Shad says their coach won the under-20s and beat Brazil. Well, they're on the attack again here. Apparently Arsenal are in for Boadi for about 60 million. He looks very good. You know what I like about him? I've never really seen him play before. I like the fact that although he's only 18, the stature of him and how composed he is, he looks like a real player, yeah. Their coach, thank you very much for that. I think Morocco will likely win the whole thing after seeing the last 10 minutes, says Sam. I'm with you, Sam. Morocco are going to win it all. Nucleo says, I've listened to your show since 2020 and I love it. Also reads Chinese fan forum daily, and Bruno G is the top choice for midfielder over Chouamini and Tonali, says Nucleo. I mean, I wouldn't mind Bruno G at Man United. I didn't think that was a foul. Will you watch Ecuador Ivory Coast tomorrow night at midnight? Yes, that's our late game tomorrow. When will the England jersey come out, says Lisa Reynolds? When England play. Ashish says England have a chance. The fact that a lot of good players didn't get picked means they have depth. It's coming home. How well do you think Igor Thiago will get on, says Aidan? Well, I was talking about Thiago today on the United stand as a potential striker to bring in to compete with Sesko. And there's no doubt that he is a good player, but I think that when you look at it, every time I watch him, he doesn't play very well. But he's obviously he's had a brilliant season. But he's playing up front for Brazil in a World Cup. I think this has probably been the most impressive start of a team in the World Cup so far. Although Brazil nearly did just score, and it was Thiago. He probably should have scored. Cross came in. Brazil have finally woken up here. Saibari is signing for Bayern, says John. Yes, he is. Thomas, thanks very much for the follow. Will you watch UFC Freedom? I don't know what that is, mate. That could be anything. Ashish says, Cunha is a 10. When he eventually gets to play in his true position, you will see more magic. Who got through more gum, Ancelotti or Sir Alex, says T. You know, in the modern day, Sir Alex Ferguson would definitely have a brand deal with, like, Wrigley's, wouldn't he? Thanks for all the follows on TikTok, by the way. I can see that we've had nearly 200, so appreciate that. Thank you. I'm Welsh, but I want Morocco to win the World Cup, says True Gent. And Alex says, does Brazil realise the game has started? What I hate about this World Cup, says Razzler, is that there are too many groups. Maybe making it 6 teams a group instead of 4 would have been better. Yeah, I mean, I've not had this question answered. Scouse says, are you good, Mark? I'm very good, mate. Neil's got Morocco in the sweep. Well, they've started off really well, mate. I mean, look, Brazil might end up winning the game, but I've been very impressed with Morocco in the first 12 minutes. And to be fair, Constantine did say, watch Morocco, they're very good. So fairs. But I asked this question last night. Is the next World Cup, which is going to be in Brazil, no, Spain, Portugal and Morocco, is that 48 teams as well, or is this just a one-off? YRAF has said keep an eye on Bouadi. We've already spoken about him. I mean, look, if you are tuning in a little bit late, which some of you might be, we know all about Brazil. Rafinha, Vinicius Jr, Paqueta, Bruno G, Casemiro, Marquinhos. We know all about Brazil. If you want to know a bit about Morocco, you'll know about the fullbacks. Mazraoui of Man United, Hakimi, probably the best right back in the world. But Bouadi, number 6, 18 years of age, from Lille. Definitely the young player to watch on the pitch today. Diaz, Brahim Diaz, Real Madrid. Alcanaz, Stuttgart. Saibari, PSV, just about to sign for Bayern. So they've got some really good players, Morocco. The number 24, is it El Ayanoui? He plays for Roma. So they're a good. They are a good team. They've started off very well here, and I'd certainly expect them to get out of this group quite comfortably. Amrabat's on the bench. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Have we got any Moroccans watching? I thought Amrabat was going to be a good signing for Man United. It never really worked out. Why don't you rate Brazil? I like Brazil. I mean, you know, some of you are probably in your teens, maybe younger, maybe older. Probably lots of you not in your 40s like me. I remember England against Brazil, 1988. My dad went to watch it, didn't take me, but came back with a World Cup, with a programme. And I think I watched the highlights on Sports Night or whatever it used to be called. And even then, you know, Brazil always had this aura about them. And, you know, the kit's iconic, isn't it? The yellow and blue. But they're not the Brazil even I had when I was growing up. You know, 1998, 2002, R9, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho. I suppose it's the development of the world, isn't it? They've become a little bit more European in their style of play. The samba beats have dried up. I don't know why that is. I don't know whether it's because, you know, they're not playing in the streets and on the beaches anymore. They've got proper, you know, pitches and academies. But I just think that, you know, that there is an aura about Brazil. But if you scratch the surface, I don't actually think they're that good. And I certainly don't think they're going to win the World Cup. I think they might be out before the quarterfinals. I'd be stunned if they didn't get to the quarterfinals, but because you look at some of the players they've got. But they've got a corner here. But I can't see them winning it. The freedom's been coached out of them, says Phil. I couldn't have put it any better. Did you see Alisson faked injury to play for Brazil, says Fitz. I'd need to know more about what you're talking about there. Who's your League of Ireland team, says Tommy. I don't really have one, but if I did, my best man lives in Drogheda, so I'd say I'd follow them. Touge fan says, an American, it's good because all the games are at decent times. It's nice to have a World Cup on in the background, says Touge. And Brazil are like golden generation England, no chemistry, says True Gent. And Rory, let's see what happens with this corner. I've just realised because they have got Gabriel. I mean, you want Brazil to do well in the World Cup, though, from a spectator point of view, because they love their football, and it would be in footballing terms horrible if Brazil got knocked out early. Here's Vinicius Jr. on the edge, lays it off, and they're still on the attack, Brazil, but not been very... I'll tell you what as well, these games are going really quick, aren't they? The referees are getting these games flowing really, really well. James, with another good comment, says, years ago, the Brazilian players were from the streets. It's all academies now. Rory says, how does Vinicius Jr.'s decision-making and end product make you feel? A lot to be said from R9, mate. I think R9's probably one of the greatest players I've seen in my life. Obviously, his career was disintegrated by injury, but I mean, you know, there's a lot of football that you can watch as a youngster. I would say, I don't know what the youth are impressed with these days as they come through. What a ball! If this ends up with a goal, get the fuck in! What a goal! What a pass! What a goal! That is absolutely brilliant. It's Saibari for Bayern Munich, but whoever played that pass deserves the Ballon d'Or. That was absolutely Bruno-esque. What a pass and what a goal. That was superb. Absolutely brilliant. They deserve it as well. They've been the better team here, Morocco. And I'm trying to get the name of the passer. I mean, Saibari took it really, really well. But the assist was absolutely delightful. Well, we've got the best game of the World Cup so far, and it's living up to it. Watch this pass. Oh, my God. Just took out about half the Brazilian team, and he finished it well. He did finish it well. Saibari with the finish over the top of the advancing Alisson. That is the goal of the tournament for me. It's so good, and he took it so well. He's off to Bayern. This Morocco team, you can get on the bandwagon if you want. You can get on the bandwagon. I said they're winning it all. After 10 minutes, I didn't say they were going to win it all. I did say they could be the big dark horse of the tournament after the first 10 minutes because they play football. Bouadi played the pass. I think it was Brahim Diaz. I don't think it was Bouadi. Mazraoui was the pass before the pass. To be fair, it was Brahim Diaz who played the pass of Real Madrid. It was incredible. Oh, I tell you what. I loved the USA last night, and I'm loving this because I love it. I love a tournament where teams turn up and don't play by the rules. I mean, I don't want teams to turn up and start punching people. I mean, like, they don't conform to the predetermined rules. Drinks break here. Stretch break for me. You know, it would be boring if we turned up to this World Cup and Brazil were really good and Argentina were really good. We want teams to disrupt the established order, don't we? The rebellion. And Morocco here are certainly doing that. I mean, what? I mean, look, this is the World Cup. This is the World Cup. The scoreline. But look at the stadium. Look at the sky. Look at the colour. This is the World Cup. You're very welcome. Make sure you're giving us a follow. Please do subscribe if you're on YouTube. All the watch-alongs, well, not all the watch-alongs, but all the good games we're doing here, and you're very welcome with us. I know for some of us, the kickoff times are quite antisocial, but in a way, we're in our own little bubble, aren't we, watching it together. Reminds me of my yearly Super Bowl stream, where it's like early hours of a Monday morning, and we're just in our little group. What a goal by Morocco, though. Here it is. Brahim Diaz. Look at this. Splits the centre-backs. I mean, I don't know why they're looking whether it's onside. It's clearly onside. Yeah, the defenders get split. But Brahim Diaz, I mean, when you look back at that ball when Brahim Diaz gets it, there are 6 Brazilians, and there is him, Brahim Diaz, and the scorer. And he takes them all out to put him through one-on-one. They deserve it as well. They deserve it. Morocco got to the semis of the last World Cup, says Matty. Yeah, maybe they're not as dark a horse as we think. Morocco is a team, Brazil is individual, says Rory. Will you be playing any of the guitar tonight? I might play a little bit in the Scotland game. 50 says Gabriel couldn't defend a parking fine. Look, as a Man United fan, and I'm sure a lot of United fans will agree with me this, Casemiro is a warrior, but he's a warrior on crutches. He's not as mobile as you need to be. And the bloody Morocco manager doesn't look like me. You cheeky... Some twat said I look like the Morocco manager. I've just seen the Morocco manager. I'm like, they ain't like me. He looks like a prat in glasses. That is not me. Absolutely not having that. I wish I knew the person who'd said it. I was expecting some good-looking bloke. The only similarity between me and the Morocco manager is he's a good coach. That's it. Morocco is a team, done that one. Morocco got to the semis, done that one. Is Alisson past it? Liverpool should have kept Kelleher, says Ross. And Jay says, I'm sending this as genuinely looking out for the Europeans here in America. A lot of us are under severe storms tonight. If you hear sirens, look for shelters in any hotel you might be at, says Jace. Is that true? Where's that going on then? Brazilian players will feel the pressure now, says Daryl. I mean, Brazil will get through this group because Haiti, they'll batter them and they should get through with 3 points. But it's, I don't know. Some of you will have looked at it. Melanie, welcome and thank you for following us on TikTok. Some of you will have looked at it, but I don't know what happens if you don't finish top of this group. I'd have to sort of go through it all again and try and figure it out. Thoughts on Damien Duff joining Keith Andrews, says Ian O'Connell. What, at Brentford? Hadn't really had any thoughts. Robert McCormack says Casemiro and Gabriel at corners is dangerous. Good shout out, Robert. England win World Cup or United win the league? I've got to be selfish here and say Man United win the league. Definitely. Here's a quiz question for you. When did Brazil last win the World Cup? And it's exactly why they won't be winning the World Cup this year. I mean, Morocco are all over them at the moment. He's going to shoot. Just wide. Morocco are all over Brazil like a rash. Yeah, 2002 was the last time Brazil won the World Cup. 24 years ago. Now, I know it's 60 years since England won it, and we've got to hold that L. But it's 24 years since Brazil won the World Cup, and people still think Brazil are, you know, a world force. Bouadi took Casemiro out there. Mazraoui's looking bloody brilliant, you know. Way better than Shaw at left back. Gets forward as well. Second question I'm going to ask you, Quizbridge. When was the last time Scotland played in a World Cup? You've probably heard this numerous times today, but you should know it. Daryl says this might be the poorest Brazil squad I've seen. Look, plenty of teams lose their first game in the World Cup and go on and win it. Argentina lost to Saudi in the last World Cup, didn't they? So let's not write Brazil off because they're not doing very well in the first half an hour here. But they are distinctively second best. And this is why I'm saying that they're not going to win this tournament. I genuinely don't think they're that good. They've got some good players. I mean, I do rate Bruno G, obviously Vinicius Jr, Rafinha, Gabriel, but their fullbacks aren't particularly good, which is not normal for Brazil. They don't really have an out-and-out striker. Midfield doesn't have enough quality either for me. I just can't. And look, I've watched Casemiro play for Man United. 1 game a week, he ain't too bad. He's going to be playing every 3 or 4 days in a very intense tournament. That was my hot take. Brazil would have a bad World Cup. Last World Cup for Scotland was 1998, where they did actually play Brazil in the opener. I don't know why it was Brazil against Scotland in the opener, because it was in France and the host normally plays first, but it was definitely Brazil-Scotland. Brazil were the holders. And to be fair, that was probably the last era that Brazil were good, because they won it in 94. They got to the final in 98 and were the favourites, but lost to the hosts. And then they won it in 2002. So, they, you know, effectively, 3 finals in a row. 94, 98, 2002. And they could have won 3. They won 2 out of 3. And then it all fell apart. Whatever happened after 2002, the Brazilian fell apart. Is that Tom Brady in a Brazil top? Yep. Just done a little messing about. I should do that for TikTok. Don't know what he did. Jez, thank you very much for the follow. Imagine being Mazraoui, playing with this team, then having to come back and play with Man United when you can't get off the bench. What must he be thinking? Mazraoui, Denise, is such a good player. I don't know why we don't use him enough. Can you get my nan a new electric bike if Morocco wins? She likes quizzes too, says Uzi. If Morocco wins the World Cup, I'll get her an electric bike. And you can come back and we'll sort it. I'll turn up and go... if you know, you know. Rather pay 60 million for Boadi instead of Fernandez. This is welcome to the World Cup, YRAF, where you sign a player you've never heard of because they had a good couple of good games in an international shirt. He does look good, to be fair. Although, what a goal! Well, out of absolutely nothing, Vinicius Jr has just made it 1-1. Almost against the run of play. That is absolutely world class. Vinicius Jr, I mean, I like this player. I know he irritates a lot of people. I think he's a fantastic player. And, you know, he's on Hakimi's side there. He's cut inside. He's whipped it in. And that's what Brazil can do. Not playing well, but there we go. Vini J, that is world class. And Hakimi looks pissed off. Captain. That's magic, basically. Game on. We're getting goals in this tournament as well. Let's watch it back. He's got 2 players on him here. Ball gets shifted out. Yeah, it's not Hakimi who he gets past, is it? Keeper's got no chance for that. It's pure power. That's what I mean. When you're up against someone like Vinicius Jr, it only takes a second. And that's what Brazil do have, that individual ability. I mean, VBA says, write them off at your own peril. Yeah, I mean, I don't rate Brazil. I don't rate them. Doesn't mean they're not going to win the World Cup. That's just one man's opinion. But what they do have, and somebody said it, They may not play well as a team, but they do have that individual flair. That'll do them the world of good as well. You know, equalising at a time where they weren't doing particularly well will do them the world of good. Thanks to everyone who's tuning in, by the way. I've just realised we've got 15,000 people watching on YouTube nearly. So thanks everyone who's watching. Share the video. Get involved. It's been a great game, this one. It's absolutely flown by. 33 minutes gone, and Morocco are opening them up again. One thing I would say, apart from don't ever watch Qatar Switzerland back, you will fall asleep. But what we have seen in a lot of these games is high intensity and a lot of energy, which is obviously great for us to watch. Brazil. Hakimi caught up by Vini J there. Rice is better than Casemiro. Well, he is now. I don't think anybody's going to argue about that. What do you think about the World Cup in general, Mark? What we're doing, how I'm consuming it, I'm really enjoying it. What I would say, and the same thing happened in Qatar, is it's the intruder alert that I don't like about the World Cup. And what I mean by that is I feel very protective of football. You know, we put the hours in. We put the, you know, the work in over the years. The World Cup comes around every 4 years. It's our sport. You know, we're all tuning in, week out, twice a week. Rainy nights in Stoke for our local, you know, for our teams that we support domestically. We love our game. And then what happens in the World Cup is you just get all these hanger-ons turning up, don't you? And it wouldn't be so bad. But then they ask them there for their opinion, and they're simpletons. But that's all the razzmatazz of the World Cup. I block all that out. So that's the only negative for me. Some people don't like the hydration breaks. I just don't like all the bloody celebrities who've got no interest in football who turn up and, you know, well, it's not even celebrities, is it? It's all these influencers who don't have anything to do with football but have got a couple of million followers on TikTok or Instagram, and I'm here at the World Cup, and you feel like going, who are you? Fuck off. Talk to me about a back four. Let's see how you get on with that. And that's simple. But other than that, I'm really enjoying it. At the Copacabana. Yeah, I am doing Scotland at 2 a.m. Oh, I'm going to try. It's my second 2 a.m. in a row. So I will try. Brazil. You look like Jeff Goldblum, Tommy says. I've never had that said to me before. Here's Bouadi, good play. So, if you're tuning in and you've missed the first half an hour, it's 1-1 here, and you might be thinking, ooh, Brazil. Oh, come on, that's got to be a yellow card. Chopped him down, or he was going to run through down the right-hand side there. And guess who it is? It's the obligatory Casemiro yellow card, which actually did dry up a little bit towards the end of his career at Man United. But this is just the lack of pace that Casemiro has these days, and he can't quite get there. I am watching the Scottish, yes, Dom. Morocco definitely been the better team, but you can't take away the pure brilliance of Vinicius Jr. to get them back into the game. But Morocco don't look too disheartened here. Aiden says, do you think England will win the World Cup? Well, I am saying England are going to win the World Cup. There is obviously a long way to go. We've not even seen them play yet. Why does Tom Brady support Brazil? I mean, I don't know. I saw a debate about this, funnily enough, on TikTok about is it okay to wear other teams' national shirt, and it is a brilliant game, Denise. I personally don't have a problem with it. I mean, the last World Cup, I think I had a Mexico shirt, a Japan shirt, mainly for branding reasons, but I don't really wear football shirts anymore anyway, but his kids are half Brazilian. Well, there you go. His ex-wife was Brazilian. I think she used to go out with DiCaprio, didn't she? Is it that? What's her name? She's a model, isn't she? Or she was a model, and she may still be a model. I think, is it Giselle or something like that? I think she went out with DiCaprio. So there you go. But I think it's okay to wear a national shirt of somebody else. Certainly more than it is to wear another, if you support Arsenal and you wear a Leeds shirt, that's just weird. But what do you think of Boadi so far, says Adam? Well, he was my player to watch. As I say, he's only 18, playing in France for Lille, number 6. He has got an air of, I mean, it's probably the hair. He has got a bit of Rabiot about him, to be fair. Certainly won't be playing for Lille for long. But Morocco's a very good team. Really, Seago says, I think Thiago's very bad. What's my opinion on Vinicius Jr, says Corey? Look, probably whenever the Real Madrid-Dortmund final was it 2 or 3 years ago? He was probably my favourite player in the world at that point. And that changes naturally, but I'd say at that point, Vinicius Jr was my favourite player in the world. He isn't at the moment. But I do like him. I understand he irritates some people. He doesn't irritate me. I think he's had a bit of a drop-off in the last couple of years. But I think a lot of that's to do with Mbappe at Real Madrid and the change of focus at Real Madrid. Who's my favourite player in the world now? It's a great question. Who's your favourite player in the world at the moment? I mean, I do like Elise a lot. I think Elise is fantastic. I think you know what? It might be a little bit out there, but I actually do think Kvaratskhelia is a brilliant player. I think a lot of the, you know what? A little bit like that Real Madrid, it was a brilliant tackle there. And here they go again. Morocco, hold on the attack. Brazil have got numbers back. Yeah, I think PSG have got some fantastic players, of course. I think Harry Kane's done superb since he's gone to Bayern. I do like Elise. Yamal's a fantastic player, yeah. Thanks for the follow, John, on TikTok. Appreciate you. Mark and Morocco manager have the same barber, says Hand of Thrawn. Adam, thanks for your question about Boadi. If you look like Brad Newman, if you know, you know, says Dial. Well, I don't know, so I don't know if that's an insult or not. How is Mazraoui not a starter for United? Looks very composed at left back. Might even say better than Mr. Shaw. Definitely better, says. Definitely is better, Chris. Thank you. The only weird thing about the hydration breaks is what if you just scored before one and totally dominate going for a second? Kills the momentum. Yeah, Nick, I do agree with that. I do agree with that. I think the hydration breaks can kill momentum. And it's almost like a mini half-time, isn't it? If you're not playing particularly well, it's an opportunity to sort something out. There's Boadi. And misplaces a pass, but they'll still get it. And Brahim Diaz goes down injured there. And it's another yellow card. We might get a red. We might get a red card here. What's the weather like in New York? Oh, I love these questions. If you watch we had the Bundesliga on That's Football last year, live match coverage of the Bundesliga last year, and 29 degrees. I used to do a little bit of like, what's the weather? What, you know, talk about the teams, where they're from. I mean, I'm not going to do anything about New York, but Paulie says, are you happy about Edison coming to Man United? I mean, I'd like to see him come on, have a good look at him. I haven't seen a lot of... I used to like him a couple of years ago. I think he could be a decent signing. It's hot and humid in New York, Mark. Let us know where you're watching from. Do you think Bouadi will come to Man United? I can guarantee you we will be linked to him in the next 2 days. Having not been linked to him at all, because he's had a good game for Morocco, he will absolutely get linked to Man United. Lovely play by Diaz here. He's having a good game, Brahim Diaz. Obviously plays for Real Madrid, good player. I just wonder with this game whether Brazil will grow into it and Morocco will become more tired. Got people watching from Japan, Dublin, New York, Namibia, Chicago. Rossil says, Rio, I've seen enough. Sign Saibari, 5-year contract. Rory says, read my super chat. I did, Rory. I've definitely read one of yours. Here it is, Rory. I was just working my way back. I believe Harry Kane will get 6 or more goals this tournament. Well, I think the Golden Boot winner could hit double figures. Conceivably, they could. Morocco manager looks more like Ralph Rangnick than you, says Denise. Oh, don't worry. They'll be calling me Ralph soon. Lovely play by Morocco again. I mean, they have settled better, Brazil, now. They're not as open as they were. 4 minutes added on here. Please do share the video if you're watching on YouTube. We've got nearly 14,000 watching. And that's not what I meant to say, actually. What I did mean to say is please do subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube, because we are on the road to 1.5 million. And we are only 100 subscribers away from 482,000. So hoping to get to 1.5 million at some point during the World Cup. So please click and subscribe, get involved with the community here. We are doing the Scotland game if you're a night owl tonight. I did USA against Paraguay at 2 AM last night. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Was a bit tired in the second half, but we got there. I never thought I'd do a Haiti watch-along at 2 AM in my life, but because it's Scotland, I think the atmosphere will be great, and that's what the World Cup's all about. And you know what? In a month's time, good shot, good save by the keeper. Paqueta got the shot off. As I said, Brazil are coming more and more into this game. Yeah, in a month's time, all this will be over, and we'll be like, I wish I'd stayed up and watched Scotland-Haiti at 2 o'clock. Reggie says Brazil are starting to take over. They're definitely doing better now. Why don't we go for Bouadi if they overprice Scott, says Kidia. Well, you know, most of us have only watched Bouadi for about 46 minutes in his whole career. I don't think we could conceivably be trying to sign him. I tell you what, that was a good cross. And Marquinhos nearly got on the end of the corner. I'll be very interested to have a look at those stats. Just whizzed by too quickly for me. I'll get them back on screen. Andy B says Casemiro is wank. I mean, you won't get that on ITV, but I think what he's saying is Casemiro is not very good. Look, as a United fan, he's going to be very hard for us to replace, but I wouldn't have kept him for another year. The legs are definitely not what they were. I mean, there's still a pair of legs. They're just not as quick. So, yeah, 54% possession for Brazil. But Morocco have had 12 shots to their 6. 2 shots on target each. Brazil have had 2 corners. So, quite an equal game. I feel like Brazil are growing in confidence. But Morocco are definitely intense enough to deal with this. Rank these Jacksons. I love these sort of things, Bobby. He says, rank these Jacksons. Michael Jackson, Samuel L. Jackson, and Peter Jackson. I'll sell Michael Jackson, I'll bench Peter Jackson, and I'll start Samuel L. Jackson. And that is legitimately the truth. I do like the Lord of the Rings films from Peter Jackson. I wasn't a massive fan of Michael Jackson's music. I know I'm in the minority there, but I didn't. And Samuel L. Jackson, I love him as an actor. I think he's brilliant. So there we go. Very good question. What do you think of Amrim to AC Milan, says Kyle? It's a tough job, that. It's not quite Man United, but AC Milan are a bit like Man United in Italy, that they're just not any good anymore. So lots of stuff. I knew it would upset people, but I don't rate Michael Jackson. I never did, even as a kid. Which was, you know, I'm not saying anything about that, but even as a kid, I didn't rate him. I just don't like his music. I prefer Janet, to be honest. I prefer her music. Unorthodox. Anyway, half time. We have a great game of football here. It is 1-1 between Brazil and Morocco. Morocco came out like a hungry rabbit. Anyway, not my best work. But Morocco came out fantastically well. Started so well and deserved to be 1-0 up. Goal of the tournament for me. The way Brahim Diaz cuts, you know, the superb pass, gets Sarabia in on goal, dinks it over Alisson, 1-0 up. They look good. They look in control. And then a Vinicius Jr. goal out of nothing. And we're 1-1. So, look, Brazil do look like they're back in the game now. Could still go either way. But I thought that they were, you know, a little bit shaky before that. As I've said before, you know, second controversial take here. I don't really rate Michael Jackson. I also don't really rate Brazil in this tournament. I don't think Brazil are going to do that well. Somebody just said, how's that not a red? I'd have to see that. Taken 3 is on ITV, says Marky. Yeah, we're watching this. But yeah, I think it's been a cracking game of football. I'm trying to figure out who this is on the BBC. Obviously, it's Gus Poyet, Joe Hart. Who is that? That's Kelly Cates. Who is it? If you've got the BBC on, let me know who that is, because I feel like I should know who it is, and I haven't got a bloody clue. Harvard says, who do you prefer more, Nicholas Jackson or Michael Jackson? Oh, Michael Jackson's better than Nicholas Jackson. Come on. But Logic says, are you potentially a little bit deaf? In what sense? That would have been the age to like him, says True Gent. I don't want this to turn into a Michael Jackson topic, but I don't dislike his music. It just doesn't do it for me. Like, Billie Jean's okay. Man in the Mirror's okay. But, you know, some people absolutely love his music, and I totally respect that. Not me. It just doesn't grab me in that way. Mark, how similar you and the Morocco coach look, says Jack. Who's the unsung hero for United the last few years? Cavani, in my opinion, did not get the credit he deserves, says Pick. Thank you very much. And is this the best game in the World Cup so far? It is the best game in the World Cup so far, Hamza. And do you want to know why it's the best game in the World Cup so far? Because it's the best game in the World Cup so far. That's not me being stupid. It's because it's been the best game so far, but it's also the best game on paper so far. Brazil against Morocco. Brazil, one of the hot favourites, World Cup goats, against Morocco, arguably the best team from Africa. Senegal would have something to say about that. Don't tell them, they'll storm off. But the point is, you know, there's a couple of games coming up tomorrow. I think the Netherlands against Japan is going to be a very good game, and I think Ecuador-Ivory Coast is going to be a very good game. But this is the first game of the tournament where, you know, we get to see two good teams go together. So, what is he talking about? You don't get this on ITV. Just stop. Hi Mark, will you watch House of the Dragon season 3? I will watch it, George, but I've certainly at the moment got a lot of TV series banked for after the World Cup. I mean, I don't know whether you've done the maths on this yet, but there is not a break in sight when it comes to the World Cup, because we have a game Sunday, Monday. I was looking at this: Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Every day in June. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. The first day without a game of football in the World Cup is Wednesday, the 8th of July. That's got to be the longest run of games we've ever had in a tournament. I mean, Wednesday, the 8th of July, which is... We've basically got 4 weeks of football, haven't we? If you go back to last Thursday. It's incredible. So the first day where there's no World Cup games is Wednesday, the 8th of July. And then it's only one day, and you've got another 4 days of games. It's a relentless World Cup. Do a poll to see if the community thinks he's your long-lost twin, please, says Hand of Thrawn. I'm not doing a bloody poll on that. What, Michael Jackson? Oh, no. I know you're talking about the bloody Morocco manager, aren't you? Outside of football, what are some hobbies you enjoy, Mark, says Brendan? A lot of my life is football. I've got to be honest. Like, even like this morning, well, I got up early. Well, I went to bed at 4, but I got up at 9:30 so I could take Seb to football. I do baller league, as Jamie Evans said, which is football. If the weather's good, I'll go out in, you know, down the local park, wait for it. I know it's past 10 o'clock at night, but some of you are going to get excited about that. Go down the local park with a ball and, you know, shoot some shots. Not basketball, football. And not on my own. I'll always take someone with me. God. Even something as innocent as a man in his 40s going down the park and shooting some shots at the goal, I wouldn't do that. So football is just such a massive part of my life. I have got a pool table, although it's not set up at the moment. I do like to play a bit of pool, which is like a small version of snooker. And I like reading, and I like TV and film. And that's about it. That's about all I've got time. Obviously, family. Friends I can take or leave. I have some friends, but I'm not one of them people that's got loads of friends. I never really understood that. Bench, keep, sell, Agate, Delo or Shaw, says Forever. Bench, keep, sell, Agate, Delo or Shaw. I will sell Agate, I will bench Shaw and start Delo. Again, unorthodox. I'm being very controversial here tonight. We've had over 500 new followers on TikTok. Thank you everybody who is tuning in. Absolute legends. Nice to be live on TikTok. It's the first time we've tried out this full screen thing. So thank you. I don't know whether we're doing the Scotland-Haiti game on TikTok, but we will certainly try and do, you know, we'll do Japan, Netherlands tomorrow, definitely. But Long Live says, read my super chat, Mark. Please is the word I'm looking for. I'll read it anyway, but I'm just saying it would be nice to have a little bit of that. I will tell you our schedule for the next couple of days in a minute, actually. Kalul is sat next to Gus Poyet Mark. Yeah, but I still don't know who is that? I don't know who it is. Thank you, Lisa. Have you got any holidays planned with the family, says Harrison? Yes. To be honest with you, if the World Cup wasn't on, I always think June's a great time to go on holiday. But I've got a little break planned for myself. I just needed a couple of weeks on my own in the Maldives. And then I'm taking the family for a weekend in Stoke. Do you know how to swim, says Rafa? Yes. Danny Smith, thanks for the super chat. Bench, keep, sell, done that one forever. Who scores more at the World Cup, Vinicius Jr. or Rafinha, says Pure Lock. Definitely Vinicius Jr. Monday, Tuesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days, says Logic. That was a crap show. I hated it. Name TV shows where you like the song and hate the show. Songs of Praise. No, not Songs of Praise. Antiques Roadshow. Shit show, but I did like the theme tune. Mark, do a poll to see if the committee... I've done that one. I've done that one from Brandon. I've done that one from George. Long Live says, I've seen a girl looking at me across the bar. I walked over and she seemed interested, but her friend pushed her away. What gives? What? So you're in a bar... You see someone that's interested, you go over there, and her friend pushes her away. What? Because she wants a bit of you, or what? We need more. Saibari had a great season, but on stats, Scott's had more goals and more assists in a poor Ajax team and 4 years younger. Gotts didn't even get the World Cup call-up, says UK Ajaxer. There we go. Well, I can give you a little bit more on that, because people will be like, what are you talking about? But I know what you're talking about. I just want to get the first name. Yeah, so Mika Gotts is a Belgian. I was just looking at his nationality. He didn't get called up for the Belgium national team. 21, scored a load of goals for Ajax, but didn't get called up. Belgium, I think that's a good interjection, actually. So we've got... Let me just tell you our next few games that we're doing. Normally use half-time for this. Oh, good half-time chat. Michael Jackson. Bit of striker chat. So, 2 a.m. In 2 hours' time, we'll be live for another watch-along. It's Haiti against Scotland in Boston. Australia are playing Turkey at 5 a.m. If you fancy pulling an all-nighter, I'm not doing Australia-Turkey. I'll watch those highlights tomorrow morning. And then later on tonight, because it has gone midnight now, so 6 o'clock Sunday, we are doing Germany against Curacao. We'll be live for that. And then at 9 o'clock, we've got Netherlands against the Japan. The Japan? Yeah, I've always called them the Japan. I'm not going to correct myself. You know that, the Japan. Netherlands against Japan at 9 o'clock. We're doing that as a watch-along. And then midnight, we've got Ivory Coast against Ecuador. So 3 watch-alongs tomorrow, or after we've had a sleep. Germany, Curacao, Netherlands, Japan, and Ivory Coast, Ecuador. And we are doing Scotland at 2 a.m. So that's where we are with that. And then into Monday, Sweden, Tunisia at 3 a.m. We're not doing that. Belgium, Egypt at 8 o'clock at night. We're doing that. And Spain, Cape Verde at 5. Saudi Arabia, Uruguay at 11 o'clock, not decided yet. We'll make a decision on that one probably on Monday. And then Iran, New Zealand at 2 o'clock. Nothing's going to stop me doing that one. Iran, who's with me? 2 a.m. Tuesday morning, Iran, New Zealand. Who's watching that? I'd love to see the attendance for that one. Yeah, I'm definitely not doing that. Tuesday night, France, Senegal. We're doing that at 8 o'clock at night. And then Iraq, Norway at 11. We're doing that. And then Argentina, Algeria is at 2 a.m. We're doing that as well. And then, of course, Wednesday, it's all about England. England against Croatia and Portugal, Congo are live as well. And then we'll have gone through everybody. Thank you so much, everybody who is tuning in, as always. People are trying to get me to rank things here. Please do subscribe on YouTube. We're only 70 subscribers away from 482,000. So click and subscribe. Now's your chance. Bottom right-hand corner. Players are about to come out for the second half. I've got a funny feeling Brazil might end up winning this. You know, like slowly wins the race. They've started off slow. They've got back level. The second half could be theirs. Tommy, I'm sorry, you keep asking the same thing, and it's just irritating for everybody, so I'm not answering the question. And, yeah, you're a spammer. Charlie's been at the Download Festival. Thoughts on Guns N' Roses? I used to love Guns N' Roses. I mean, you can't beat a bit of Sweet Child of Mine. November Rain is November Rain for me is up there with Bohemian Rhapsody in the way that it's just got 3 or 4 different areas in one song. I actually quite like the Terminator song, You Could Be Mine. Civil War. I like their cover of Knock Knock Knocking on Heaven's Door. I'm trying to think of what else Guns N' Roses. I like a lot of Guns N' Roses songs. Live and Die, they covered that as well, yeah. Guns N' Roses were massive when I was like younger. Morocco coming out for the second half. Patience was take that. Oh, Doggo has asked the worst question all night. You are going to get absolute pelters for this. It's a super chat. I have to answer it. The hardcore are going to hate this question. Get ready for it. So, Doggo with a $5 super chat says, have you ever been stateside, Mark? And what's your favourite city? Have I ever been stateside? He's just asked about, have I ever been stateside? I know. Have I ever been stateside? Well, I don't mention it a lot, but I was in New York a couple of times last year, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I don't talk about it a lot. But yeah, I do. I love it. In fact, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it. Let me put my headphones on. Let me just start the game. Let me start this, and then I'll quickly show you. Brazil kick it off. I might actually have. It's the best $5 you've ever spent, mate, because I might actually. Sorry, I should have explained because the audio's not on. I can show you a few clips of me in New York, so I can't talk to you while I'm doing it because I've not set it up. But well, I'll show you a few clips. Here we go. Now, as a Goldbridge myself, I am a big admirer of bridges. You've got the Tower Bridge, you've got London Bridge, you've got the Golden Gate Bridge. This is the Brooklyn Bridge. I've always wanted to see it in person, and here it is. And I've got to say, it is very good. But America, why did you name it after Beckham's kid? It should be called the Beckham Bridge. We are in Central Park. That's the hotel from Home Alone 2. Donald Trump, I don't know whether he owns it now, but... Hello everybody, just taking a walk through Central Park. Quite a famous park, as parks go. Also the location of those two... There we go. Just it was just by chance I had them there. Anyway, it's a corner to Brazil. No, yeah, I don't talk about New York or visiting there much. Yeah. Anyway, back to the football. Back to the football. Dara Finn, thanks for the follow. It's not AI. Well, Brazil have got a corner here. So my prediction is that Brazil are going to go on and win this game, despite the fact that they've done really well. Rank these footballing brothers, please, says Jesper. Laudrup, De Boer, or Neville's. Well, Neville's, I'm selling them. the Boer brothers can go on the bench and the Laudrup brothers win. And that is right. On footballing ability, Laudrup brothers were incredible. The De Boer brothers were better technically. And Neville brothers were good, but they can't live with the De Boer brothers or the Laudrup brothers. Thoughts on Derby County, also Linkin Park tomorrow, says Charlie. Derby are one of those teams that for me have just sort of fell off. Vinny got tackled there. Can Morocco get going? We have had some substitutions in this game, by the way. Fabinho is on for Brazil. You might remember him from Monaco and Liverpool. Plays in Saudi now. He likes money. Well, you can't knock it. He's probably on about $500,000 a week. Don't know how old he is, but they did make a substitution at half time, and it was Casemiro who came off and Ibanez. So both yellow carded players came off. My timer is miles off here. Sorry, I've got to sort it out. Just been told by producer Matt. So let me just sort that out. I think it's because I was showing you my New York stuff. He likes New York things now. Interesting from Ancelotti, though, that he subbed off both yellow-carded players. Casemiro hooked at half-time. Get Cunha on, he'll win it. Beefy Dad says, hello from the US of A. Thank you, pal. Hope you're enjoying the show. Who will be the next England goalkeeper, says Danny. Trafford. Favourite kit so far, says Anshul. I do quite like the Mexico kit. A True Gent says he sings Sweet Child of Mine at the park. Thank you, pal. Thanks for the follows, Choco and Denzel. What's the best park? Oh, this is brilliant. Brad, he says, what's the best park? Central Park, Rosa Park, or Ji-Sung Park? I would bench Ji-Sung Park, sell Rosa Park, and start Central Park. Although Hyde Park's nice. Oh, I'm a minute off now. Oh, this bloody timer's getting on my tits. I don't need this. Oh, God, my painkillers are starting to wear off as well. I'll have to take some more at between the lovely play by Hakimi, good tackle. It's interesting he took Casemiro off, though, because there's Vinicius Jr. with space. Lovely feet. And cleared away by Mazraoui. Welcome to the jungle. Look on TikTok. Thank you very much for the follow. What's the best stadium excluding Old Trafford, says Lewis. Let's do what's the best stadium in the World Cup. I feel like the Azteca. I do like the MetLife. And the SoFi Stadium. I like a lot of the stadiums in this World Cup, to be honest. They remind me of NFL and 94. What are your thoughts on the England equipment getting robbed, says Sam. Not a lot, really. Best baggins, Frodo, Bilbo or Neville? Says Uzi. Yeah, I think, look, it is a World Cup watch along. I don't want it to turn into a going for Goldbridge. Maybe in the keep it for the Scotland game because this is a good game. Pick for next James Bond, Mark. Theo James would be good, says Ross. Ooh, cut back, cleared by Morocco. Definitely grown in confidence, Brazil, this second half. Bienda's at the World Cup and not Garnacho, says Olivia. Here's Vinicius Jr. Misplaced pass by Morocco. I thought he was going to give a foul there, but he's played it on. And it's a good tackle. Thiago looks off the pace for me for Brazil. Take him off for Cunha. How long before Fabinho gets booked? Not long. Conrad says Ancelotti should sub on Endrick. Doggo says, I can't believe... No, he says, what do you think of them going with Igor, Thiago, João Pedro, big omission, Endrick, good impact sub? And Man United Devil 99 says, Thiago is a donkey. Every time I watch him, he's shit. But he's clearly not shit because he scored a lot of goals in the Premier League. But every match I watch him, he's rubbish. It's almost like he's going, Goldbridge is watching, I'm going to be shit. He's not watching, I'm going to play really well. Which can't be true. Duke says, when you coming Dublin again? I'd like to get there before the end of the year. And I'd like to go there and not do a show. Every time I've been there recently, we've done a live United Stand show. What's your favourite TV show at the moment? Probably Clarkson's Farm or Dutton Ranch. Lovely turn of pace by Mazraoui here. Explosive from left back. Not been many chances. Brazil have defended a lot better since they conceded. To be fair, both defences have played a lot better. And that's a good thing for both teams. You know, if you want to win the World Cup, you do need to defend well. Do you like any heavy metal bands, says Cal? Not really. As I said, the band I like the most at the moment is actually an Australian band, although they don't sound Australian. Although I can't imagine anybody singing with an Australian accent anyway. But DMAs, I really like them. If you want to get into them, I'd listen to their I Don't Need to Hide song, and then you'll just be hooked. James Bond or Bondage? So sure, yeah, I'm not doing any of this stuff anymore. Are you watching Australia later, Alex? No, it's a 5 AM kickoff, mate. It's not even because it's 5 AM. I did the United Stand at 8, this at 11, Scotland at 2, and then that at 5. It's just too much streaming that. She's got her feet up. I don't know whether they're famous. I'll tell you what, we've seen a lot less of, and I'm happy about this because this is something I absolutely hate. We've seen a lot less in this World Cup of the cameraman going to look for the stereotypical attractive females of each nation. And I hated that. So I'm actually pleased that they're not doing that this World Cup. Would you take Pacho to Man United, says David? But the centre-back who plays for PSG? I mean, he is very good. I just don't think a centre-back for Man United is a priority, and he would cost a lot of money. That's an L take, Mark. It's very woke. Well, you can read into it what you like. I mean, I'm never actually going to say the alternative, am I, whether I believe it or not? But no, I have genuinely noticed that the camera does not, this World Cup, pan to stereotypically attractive women of each nation. And that used to be something that used to happen every World Cup, but it doesn't happen anymore. Hand of Thrawn says, speaking, True Gent says, miss my super chats, mate. Yeah, I'm not reading that one out, mate, because people are trying to catch me out with stuff, and I'm not getting into those conversations. So it wasn't that I missed it. I'm just not going through all that sort of stuff. I thought it was a bit of a low one before because I wasn't actually thinking about what was being said. So yeah, I don't like people who start taking it into that area. United is the worst manager out of top 6, says Max. Yeah, again, don't really want to talk about Man United in the World Cup. Hand of Thrawn says, speaking of World Cup stadiums, this is more like it. The stadium in Kansas City is the loudest in the world, recorded at 142.2 decibels during an NFL game. And I feel that that's where we are playing. I don't know what the first game in Kansas is, actually. User says, I think this referee's been really good in this game. I think, you know what? I think the fact that we haven't really spoken about the referee apart from the first game where there was 3 red cards, I think the referees are doing a good job. And they do need a shout out because every game we've watched so far has flown by. But the way this game's going at the moment, I feel like it's probably going to end in a draw. And that doesn't mean it is going to end in a draw. I'm just saying the trajectory of the game is a draw. So it's about who's willing to make changes. And I do think Cunha could be a match winner. Stardust is getting up for work in 3 hours. Remember, I used to go out on a Thursday night when I was like 18, 19, student night in Nottingham. And where I lived was rural Nottinghamshire. And from Nottingham city centre, it was easily half an hour in a taxi. So you'd come out the club at like 3 a.m, get something to eat. You'd be in a taxi for about 3:30. Get home for about 4 a.m. And I had to be up at 7 for work. And you'd be there like, but you know, and you'd be pissed. And I'd be like, I'll be all right. I just don't know. I don't know how I used to get through those Fridays. And then the best bit was you wake up hungover. I don't know how I'm going to get to work. You get to work. I don't know how I'm going to get through today. Oh, I feel absolutely terrible. I feel absolutely terrible. Then at 4 o'clock, someone would say, fancy a pint after work? Yeah. Because you feel better then. What's your opinion on Nana back starting for United? It won't happen, SVX. Joe says, Patience was Guns N' Roses, Not Take That, written in 1988. I think they're 2 different songs, mate. I definitely don't think Take That covered Guns N' Roses. Max says, did you see Harry Kane's English cakes? I don't know what that's all about. Kansas City, Argentina, Algeria on the 16th, says Chachi. Thank you very much. Henry says, if the UK got the World Cup, what stadiums would you pick? Emirates, Wembley. Well, let's start from the south. Emirates, Wembley, Tottenham, Villa Park. How many do you need? Cunha is on. I don't know when Cunha came on, but he's definitely on now. He could be the match winner here. Playing in a good position as well. He's playing sort of like off the striker. I think he's on for Paqueta. Yeah, so I've got 4 stadiums. Villa Park, Emirates, London Stadium, Wembley, Etihad, Old Trafford, Anfield. Probably, to be fair, the Everton Stadium now as well. St James's Park. So that's got to be 10. I'm not bloody using Twickenham. They can go and throw the oval ball there. May as well use the bloody oval. Tommy says, the number 6 for Morocco looks brilliant at age 18. Yes. What about West Ham's? Yeah, you could use West Ham. I don't like it, though. West Ham fans don't like it. Do you watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? No. EPL refs are the best. These refs in the World Cup aren't good. Nabil, you've got that the wrong way round. Ryan says, what's your thoughts on Queen's music? Oh, I love a bit of Queen. Favourite Queen song? I like Show Must Go On, Who Wants to Live Forever, Those Were the Days of Our Lives, Radio Gaga, obviously Bohemian Rhapsody. The Queen are good. United is the worst manager of out of the top 6. I've done that. Tommy Fury beat Eddie Hall by decision, says Fitz. Thank you very much. This World Cup will be a terrible last sighting of Ronaldo, says CK. A couple of substitutions here as well for Morocco. I'll keep you up to date that. Max says, what about Lincoln Park? I think you missed my super chat. I definitely didn't miss your last one. And Anshu says, would you let Mazraoui go if interest builds? No, because I think he's a good player. What do I think about Lincoln Park? They're all right. Sam says, Thiago always scored on the 3 PM kickoffs in the Premier League this year. That's why you never see him score. Maybe he did that on purpose. Joker on TikTok says Pele or Rick Arlison. I mean, you definitely are a joker, aren't you? So, just to keep a track of the substitutions that we've had in this game. I mean, you should be getting them on the screen as they go around anyway. Ibanez went off for Danilo at half-time, and Casemiro came off for Fabinho at half-time. Paqueta went off for Cunha about 5 minutes ago, and Thiago went off for Enrique as well. So Brazil have probably got the stronger bench. Still got the likes of Endrick that can come on. I don't think Brazil can win this World Cup, but what I would say is they could grow into the tournament and get better, but I don't see them as winners. Iwani's gone off for El Morabet, and Diaz has gone off for Telby. Brazil are definitely pushing more here. I feel like Morocco have lost a bit of oomph. First 10 minutes, you'd have thought they were going to... Sorry, first half an hour, you'd have thought they were going to win the World Cup. Last half an hour, they have struggled a bit. Yes, good call by everybody. A lot of people talking about Telby, who's just come on. Of course, he's at Sunderland, signed from Club Bruges. Winger. Winger. Didn't say. Best 8 midfielders and 8 attackers from 2002 to 26. Eamon, I know you're taking the piss there because I'm not answering that. If you're stuck for TV shows, Mark, watch Mr. In Between, says Ross. I'm genuinely not stuck at the moment because it's all about the football. Another hydration break here. And Queen, Oasis and Take That. Start, bench and sell. I would have to sell Take That. I'd bench Queen and I'd start Oasis. And I love Gary Barlow. He would agree with me on that. I hope. You should watch Suits and The Rookie. Great show, says Nabil. I'm not struggling for TV shows. I'm just very much watching a lot of football because of the World Cup. You should watch New Zealand winning the World Cup, says Highlander. I tell you what, if New Zealand win the World Cup, I will quit YouTube. Don't worry, I've still got TikTok. No, I mean you could make any bet. New Zealand won't win the World Cup. You know, you could say if New Zealand win the World Cup, I'll, you know, walk across the North Pole banging pots and pans naked, saying I hate polar bears, and you'd be fine. Mbappe will be the reason France will not win the World Cup. Nabil, you're the second person to say that. He does not look like me. That is incredibly offensive to say that Morocco manager looks like me. Look at him and then look at me. He looks absolutely nothing. You can't just say because somebody wears glasses, he looks like me. That's like saying Deirdre Barlow looks like me. What was that question I had? Patrick McGrath, thanks for your super chat. 7-0 to Scotland, says just one on TikTok. Mate, it could happen. We should get a goal fest. Fantastic stadium, the MetLife. A lot of New Yorkers do not like it. I think it's because travel access is shit. Mark, it's not Deirdre Barlow, it's Deirdre Rashid. Did she die, Rashid? I should know the name of her husband. What was his name? I think he was Moroccan. What was Deirdre Barlow's, well, Deirdre Rashid's husband called? He died. Most people in the chat, especially on TikTok, are going, what is he talking about? She was in Coronation Street and she married, I'm sure he was Moroccan. And she's dead, so she if she's watching this, she'll be supporting it with him. And no, Ken Barlow, Samir, that was his name. Yeah, was he Moroccan? Can we find that out? Mbappe will be the reason that France don't win the World Cup, says Nabil. You are the second person to say that to me today, and I completely agree with you. If you look at PSG, they were never going to win the Champions League with Mbappe. They get rid of him, they're going for 3 in a row. Real Madrid, before he came in, I thought they were going to dominate Europe. And he comes in and they stop dominating Europe and they stop winning La Liga. Mbappe is a fantastic player. He's world class. But is he a team player? That's the question. Lovely passing by Morocco here. It's probably the first time they've strung a move together. But Brazil have been... You know what? Brazil... I hate to say this. It's not a surprise. Because it's Ancelotti who's Italian. They are defensively quite resolute, Brazil. Mother Nature is welcoming the England squad to the Midwest. Potential tornado storms tonight, says Lucas. Yeah, we've done all right, fingers crossed, so far with this World Cup, but there will be delayed games, and I won't hang about. If it's an early morning game, I'll just be like, I'm going to bed. People don't like the MetLife because the turf field they use for NFL games is the worst field by far. The stadium itself is nice. Yes, you're absolutely spot on, Derek. I read about this, actually. They call it the MetLife curse. There's been quite a few players who've done their knee in American football. He's played very well, this 18-year-old from Morocco, Bouadi. Been very impressed with him, as have many of you. Yeah, I'm like you. I'm with you, Hakimi. I'm very surprised he's not been booked. His speed. You know what? I look at the. I mean, I know I'm probably going to cause a load of problems here, but I look at the enormity of what speed is now, and I know it irritates people because they see it as a huge influencer infiltrating the beautiful game. But he does like football. And I just look at his growth and I think back to that first Sidemen charity game where he sat next to me on the bus. And it was a 45-minute bus journey. And the whole time he just listened to me because he'd said, how do I become the biggest streamer in the world, specifically around football? And I just told him, and he's gone out and done it. If France win the World Cup, the Dembele will win another Ballon d'Or and he will get the spotlight. Mbappe will intentionally slow down the game or try to be a hero. Portugal will win the World Cup. Nabil, I disagree with you, though, because I think you've just described why France might not win the World Cup because of Mbappe's influence. But as much as I love him, I don't think Portugal will win the World Cup because of Ronaldo's influence. Because I think Martinez fundamentally is the Spanish Southgate and he will go with nepotism. And I don't think he will take Ronaldo off. And I don't think he will rotate Ronaldo. So I think he will keep picking him. And I think that might be problematic. As we've seen with Casemiro tonight, you know, I think this tournament's quite intense and quick. Multi-talented reviewing for exams and listening and watching the games, says Hamza. Thanks for the early wake-ups. Senegal versus France will be exciting. I'm having a non-alcoholic mojito. I'm going to get myself a drink after this one. Before the Scotland game. It's a bit of a pain, actually. Scotland doesn't kick off till 2. This is going to finish at about 1. So I've got about half an hour. I might just play a bit of guitar. Ethan says that's not nepotism. I'm pretty sure it is. And if it's not, it's favouritism. That may be what I meant. It is nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. Thanks for all the follows on TikTok. We've had over 800. You're absolute legends. Do you like playing PC or PS5 games, says Barry? The only time I ever used to play PC games was like Championship Manager, Sensible Soccer, Cannon Fodder. I hope Ronaldo proves all the haters wrong. Not saying you're a hater. No, I'm not a hater at all. I love Ronaldo, and I think... But he's 41, 95 trace, and I do think that if Portugal want to win the World Cup, they can't use him every minute of every game. You know, he needs to either be on the bench or subbed off. And they just won't do it because Ronaldo can always get you a goal. I don't know whether he's past it. I think people want him to be past it. Lovely cross into the box by Morocco there, but nobody quite there. I think we're drifting towards a draw here. Love Hate Games says I've got McTominay to score an assist. Probably not a bad bet. I think we're sponsored by Boyle Sports on our Watchalong actually, so I'll be able to tell you my bet builder because I've got a bet on. You should try sim racing games. It will be fun, says Nabil. How does that work? How does a sim racing game work? Would you wear an Arsenal or Liverpool shirt if it meant England would win the World Cup, says Marco? Yeah, but how's that going to work? Is God going to turn up and say, Mark? I don't know why he would talk like that. And he wouldn't call me Mark. If you wear an Arsenal shirt, England will win the World Cup. Don't believe in you. Actually, I just want to make it very clear. I'm not an atheist. I don't want to go. I don't really want to get into that conversation at 1 o'clock in the morning. But I definitely want to make it very clear that I'm not somebody that doesn't believe in religion. I don't want to talk about it in any great depth because I've not really thought it through as to there are some very good viable options as to why religion isn't real, but I actually do believe in a God. Remember Croatia's Simonic 3 yellow cards versus Austria 2006. I don't remember that, Lucky. Buadi could be United's Casemiro replacements as Emperor. No, you're doing it on purpose because you know full well I cannot stand people who identify and scout players in World Cups. Ian Tracy says, I'm sure you've said it before, Mark, but how far do you think England will get? I think you'll get to the semis. It's coming home, Ian. Tactician, thanks for the follow on TikTok. You're a legend. Gads on TikTok says, I just come in and Mark's talking about his religious views. Yeah, we have our own style of watch along here. I'll be honest. I'm always going to be honest. I thought the first half an hour, Morocco were fantastic. I think Brazil had an individual goal from Vini Jr, which is fantastic, and it made them feel more confident. And I think in the second half, it's been a little bit like a classic Champions League or World Cup game between two equally matched teams where neither of them want to lose. And a draw with 10 minutes to go is probably a fair result. I think Morocco could have won this game. World Cup 2006 final versus World Cup 22 final, which is better? 22 was a good final, wasn't it? Here's Morocco. They part the bus, Brazil, don't they? They really do. I don't want to say this about Brazil, but they're ridiculously defensive. In fact, I'm going to tweet it. They are. They're really defensive. It's a back six all the time and then rely on a bit of individualism, isn't it? And look, you'd expect that with Ancelotti, but Cunha wins a corner. Daz says Neymar last minute. He can't come on, mate. Actually, that wasn't even a corner. Imagine if they score from this. Oh, no, they can't because VAR reviews it, doesn't it? That's quick, isn't it? Tell you what, if that was the Premier League, we'd be waiting 5 minutes. Fair play. I tell you what, I like that. I like that. I was a bit worried about VAR for corners, but if it's quick, it's good. I've got to say, the way that the games have flown have been brilliant. They've really kept the ball in play. They've really kept the game flowing. Nabil says, would you rather choose Man United winning the Premier League next season with current owners or Glazers and Sir Jim Radcliffe out, but you'll have to wait another 10 years to win it? I'll always take winning the league, mate. We've won the Champions League with the Glazers. Rafinha there, just a little bit late on the keeper. I mean, even the Morocco goalkeeper is very good. Bono. Oliver says the Brazil kit is exactly the same template as England. He's probably done to his shoulder what I've done, and it will hurt. I am watching the Scotland game, yeah. I don't know whether I'm going to be live on TikTok, but definitely going to be live on YouTube. Keeper's just gone down injured here. Did you know Cannavaro manages Uzbekistan, says Kenneth? I didn't. To be honest, I didn't realise Lopetegui managed Qatar either. But now I do. Moroccan reserve goalkeeper is warming up here. Ben says, are you watching Australia? No. I would have watched Australia-Turkey. I think that would have been a better game than Qatar-Switzerland, but timing-wise, it kicks off at 5 a.m. You look more like Ancelotti, says Short-Tempered Gamer. Does Cunha play better for Brazil than United, says Constantine? He plays in the right position. There's Zidane. You know, if you like a decent footballer, I presume a brand just rings you up and says, come over to the World Cup for a month. We'll cover all your expenses and pay you. I mean, you've got to be a good footballer. I don't think anybody's doing it for Danny Mills or Danny Murphy. Kay Miller says, Mark, thoughts, expectations for Mazraoui next season given potential signings? No, I mean, we're not going to sign anyone at right back, are we? I think if you were watching this and you were Michael Carrick, you'd be very happy. Schneider says, I'm not sold on Thiago, hoping for Mateta or Krupi. We won't sign Thiago. Brentford will want 60, 70, maybe even 80 million pounds, and I certainly haven't seen any performance like that from him. I am watching the Scotland game, yes. Lots of people, Prince Marco on TikTok, lots of people talking about Bouadi, the number 6 for Morocco. He's played very, very well. Probably give him man of the match, actually, for an 18-year-old to play in a game of this magnitude in front of this many people against Brazil. And I wouldn't say he's ran the midfield, but he's been very composed, very impressive. And you know what? For Morocco, this is a big result. If they get even if they get a draw, it's a good result for them. I mean, Bouadi there received the pass and clapped the pass from his centre-back. He's a confident young lad. Tell you what, I like the centre-backs for Morocco as well. I really like Riyad. There he is on the ball. Very, very composed centre-back. He's, I mean, plays for Crystal Palace. I didn't even know that. He's only played 10 games for Palace. Played in the Conference League final, which I didn't watch. Just looks very composed. Rizwan, thanks for the follow. It's a long time ago since Morocco scored. Yeah, I'm with you, Stokes. I think the second half has been a bit dull. But we should get loads of goals in the Scottish game. So, in relation to these two teams, they're in Scotland's group. And realistically, it probably looks quite good for Brazil to get through top now, because I feel like Brazil will score more goals against Haiti. And maybe Scotland. Scotland play Morocco next. It'll be a good game, that. That happens on 11 o'clock on Friday. We're doing that one. Scotland against Morocco is then. And then Brazil play Haiti at 1:30 in the morning. Just can't believe... If Turkey better do well in this World Cup, because I won't even bloody watch them. I'm not doing a 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning game. Pegasus says Buadi is the perfect Declan Rice cover. I can absolutely agree why Arsenal would be looking at him. 18, can do that role, would be happy to be in a squad player, get plenty of game time. You can see why they're looking at him. Turkey equals dark horse, says Lurker. Well, I think Morocco are a dark horse as well. They're very pink boots. Everyone's wearing pink boots. Seb said to me the other day, because my daughter's got a pair of these Nike pink boots, and Seb said to me the other day, would you wear pink boots? I said, no. I never would have worn them. 10 minutes added on. What for? 10 minutes? Keeper went down, yeah. Rafina's in. And they've missed the chance. Yeah, you know what? Brazil haven't won a World Cup for 24 years, and I think it goes hand in hand with, when you think about the 2002 team, R9, Ronaldinho, Cafu, Rivaldo. They just don't have that samba beat, or whatever you want to call it, anymore. I mean, you know, one of the things about Brazil was they always had these really, you know, almost Hakimi type fullbacks. They don't have them. They don't have those fullbacks. It's not even the lack of flair in the attack. It's also the lack of flair at fullback. They just don't have Roberto Carlos, exactly. They just don't have that anymore. They're like a European team, and obviously they've got a European coach. But yeah, oh, they've got a corner here. They might win it from a corner, which would be very European. Cunha's on it. I did say I fancied Brazil to sneak this. Let's see what they can do from the corner. Bono gets on it. Another corner. Man United need to sign Buadi, I'm convinced, says FC Snipe Show. Do you think Scotland will finish second in the group, says Mr. Macker? What Scotland need to do is win today. And if they can win today, win by quite a few goals. Because 3 points will get some teams through. Because I think, is it 6 or 8 third place teams go through to the next round. So you can go through with 3 points. So even if Scotland lose to Morocco and Brazil, which they might not, they could have a good chance of going through. So I think that for Scotland, they cannot do what happens a lot in the World Cup where, well, look what happened with Switzerland against Qatar. They can't do one of them. They've got to win Scotland. I mean, I wouldn't say Scotland will definitely lose to Brazil or Morocco. But they might do, so they've got to beat Haiti. Daniel says, Buadi looks like an interesting project. He needs to be looked at by Man United. I guarantee he will be linked to us. Taylor says, do you need a light on to go to sleep? No, the opposite, mate. I went to bed at just after 4 o'clock this morning. And there was no... it was starting to get light. That's a problem. Is Richarlison not in the squad? I didn't know he'd not been called up. I thought he was in the squad, Richarlison. He's normally always in the Brazilian squad, isn't he? Darren's praying for 0 points for Scotland. Savage says, I can see Scotland finishing first. Remember, we are live at 2 a.m. in about an hour's time. We'll be live for the Scotland game. We've had 9 penalties in World Cup 2022, so rigged to help the Hobbit, says CR7. Ian Tracy says Brazil were very defensive in 94 when they won it, but they did have Bebeto, Romario and Cafu. Leonardo was a good left-back as well until he nearly broke someone's face with an elbow. I think that was against the United States, wasn't it? Do you want Scotland to do well? Yeah, because although I'm English, I don't actually give a shit about the rivalry with Ireland or Scotland or Wales. England didn't get to the 94 World Cup, so I supported Ireland. I thought it was great when Wales got to the semi-finals of the Euros. And... no, Endrick's not been used. Weird career for Endrick. Just doesn't seem to get used by Real Madrid or Brazil that often. I can't believe Fabinho's not been booked. I mean, Casemiro did 1 late tackle and got a yellow. Fabinho's done about 4 in this second half. Theo, the Poplar said Glazers need to worry about their Bucks defence. It's Isaac said, I bet 20 quid on Brazil to win. Lots of people saying Buadi's going to Arsenal would be a good signing for Arsenal. I wasn't massively familiar with his game until tonight. I mean, I knew he was the player to watch. I always try and find an up-and-coming player, but he's played well. 10 minutes added on is a long time. What I would say about Scotland is their song's a bit shit. They were on the telly earlier on the news, and they're all singing "No Scotland, no party." No, Scotland, no party. I mean, it's the sort of thing that, you know, it's a long flight from Scotland to America. That's the sort of tune you'd come up with in if you've only got 5 seconds. But they're all singing it. Apparently there's only 7 Moroccan-born players in their whole squad. Yeah, but that's just global. That's the modern world, isn't it? You know, where you're born doesn't necessarily dictate who you play for. Like, how many people are born in one country with, you know, parents from another. Oh, good double save by Alisson there. It was a shot from distance. He palmed it wide. There was a follow-up, and he got up and just smothered it. You'd expect him to save both, really, but it's a good hit from distance, and it bounces up in front of Alisson. Might have been going wide anyway, but he gets up, and he does his job. That's good goalkeeping. I'm not too sure it was going in. No, it wasn't. How far do you think Norway will go, Stian? I've got you down for quarterfinals. Everyone seems to know the score. They've seen it all before. They know we're going to lose, but I know we can play because football's coming home. I'm Constantine. I've not listened to it yet, but I will be listening to it. So, probably the last play here. Corner to Morocco. Over hit. Well, what we've seen from Brazil is that they're probably not going to concede many goals because they're a very defensively organised team. But they're probably not going to be the most exciting Brazilian side to watch. Morocco, I think if you let them play, are going to be a very good team to watch. And that's the final whistle. Bouadi, man of the match for me. I think he was the best player on the pitch. Probably the right result, 1-1. And but Morocco looked good. I mean, I would certainly say keep an eye on Morocco. The only problem you've got is that you probably want to be top in your group. Boring Ancelotti. Anyway, is someone tired, Mark? Oh, mate, I'll be trust me, I'm not going to try and hide the yawns. I will start yawning. It is 1:05 in the morning, and definitely not a night owl to that extent. But I've done night shifts in previous jobs, and I'll be absolutely fine for the Scotland game. But there will be yawns, 100%. So Morocco draw 1-1 with Brazil. I am back with you in, well, I don't really know what to do for half an hour. I might just what shall I do for half an hour? I'm gonna get a drink, go to the toilet, and probably play a bit of guitar, you know. But we are back. If you are hardcore and you want to watch Scotland's first game in a World Cup since 1998, I will be back on YouTube at 2 a.m. I might still do TikTok. I might do TikTok because you have been brilliant. Thanks everyone who's given us a follow on TikTok, by the way. Thank you for being part of it. Please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, on YouTube. We are only 30 subscribers away from 482,000. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you again in, well, if I don't see you for the Scotland game, we're back tomorrow night for Japan, Netherlands, Ivory Coast, Ecuador, and Germany, Curacao. If you're off to bed, that's absolutely fine. We're here with you throughout the World Cup. If you fancy Scotland and a late night Scooby-Doo, Scott McTominay in Boston, I will see you at 1:45, which is in about half an hour's time. Take care, everyone. Stay safe.